Welcome back, my boys and girls. So today we're taking a look at this new Super Nintendo case for the Raspberry Pi 3. So this is from Basetop. This is available on Amazon. Link will be in the description. They seem to be a company that when they get a little bit of attention, they fluctuate their prices, increase it, to screw the consumer, you know what I mean? So I've been sitting on this for a few days, had a few other projects to do, and, didn't want to rush to showing this case due to that kind of nonsense. But hey, it's still a decent looking case and people will be interested, so I did want to show it. So in the box you do get the case, has power reset buttons, all that good stuff, LED light. You do get all the screws, little instruction page, little screwdriver, everything you need to get this going. Pretty good stuff. Kind of looks like they used a 3D printed version in the instructions. I don't know why they wouldn't use a full-on production, version, but whatever, you know what I'm saying? So let's go ahead, get everything set up, and get this bad boy installed. So on the bottom, you will have 4 silver screws that are completely screwed in when you open this up. I've already removed them. They are very small. Make sure you are careful to not lose them. So once you got this opened up, you got your fan here. You got your boards with everything else, your plug to go into the GPIO to power everything, and then your USB plugs. So the USB is actually done nicer than the NES Pi case. So this one I have not had any issues with voltage or anything. Seems like it's done a little better where it's using 2 USB ports instead of 1 like the NES Pi case. Make sure you do plug that in first before you screw this board down to the case. If you don't, you're going to be screwed and have to unscrew the board. Just, of note. Make sure everything's lined up, your HDMI, your 3.5 millimeter jack. Everything will sit on top of these little plastic posts, and then you will use these little tiny ass black screws to screw the board down to the case. They do give you a bunch of them, or at least mine came with a bunch of them, so that was pretty nice in case you lose them. But if you do lose those bottom silver screws, you are screwed, so be careful with that. So I'm only going to screw in a couple of these to secure it to the board. So here we go. Everything's lined up nicely. Boom, but that's where all 4 of your little black screws would go. And as long as everything's press fit into the slots, you should be good to go. So next up, you just want to line everything up and get your fan plugged back in. And then also get the board's power to the GPIO setup. Plug that in. And the little instruction sheet does show exactly how everything plugs in to make it pretty simple. Boom. Got that bad boy plugged in. And now to close the case, just make sure all your wires are pushed in and not getting crimped or stuck on anything. So otherwise you won't be able to close it properly. So there we go. Once you've got that done, you are going to screw in your little silver screws on the bottom. And I do want to point out, I did notice that there is a slit on the bottom for GPIO access in case you're running a project that utilizes that. So that is kind of nice, kind of keeps it out of the way in case you want to use it. But for some applications, I don't know, you might find an issue with it being on the bottom, but it's better to have the, access than to not. So that's definitely a plus to show or to talk about anyway. So here I do notice I kind of screwed things up. So better me than you. So this little panel here, if you have it laid in and not laying flat out when you screw this case in, you're going to be screwed and have to unscrew it. So it looked like it was out when I was screwing it in, but obviously it fell back in. So just make sure that panel, the door is out. And it is pretty neat. It is a little slot to give you access to your Ethernet and your other 2 USB ports. So the case does give you access to everything that would normally be available on your Raspberry Pi 3. So there we go. Nice little door, feels sturdy, doesn't feel like it's going to snap off or anything. But there you go, your Ethernet and your other 2 USBs in case you need them. Have everything easily accessible. Then your micro SD card slot. 2 USBs in the front, your power and reset that are hardware power and reset, so you do have to be careful with that. But the ultimate test is going to be our micro SD card slot. If it doesn't fit or it's hard to get in and out, then this case is worth a damn. And it is easy to insert and remove. But the one thing I do want to point out is there is a little bit of an extra space. So if you're not looking when you're inserting this card, you could possibly drop the SD card above or below the actual slot, and then it will get stuck in your case. So you want to make sure you are paying attention to that so you don't have to unscrew the case to get your micro SD card back out. But as long as you're looking, it's no issue. And like I said, the power and reset are hardware buttons. They're not run by software, so they are not safe to use without doing a proper shutdown in the system. So just make note of that. It's just like the NES Pi case. I'm sure you can modify it, but I don't really care to modify it. I use the power button, and I use it safely by doing a proper shutdown in RetroPie. So I hope this video was, of interest or help to you guys. Link will be in the description if you're interested. Don't know what the price is going to be. But hey, smash that like button, subscribe if you have not done so already. And with that said, guys, I will catch y'all next time. Peace out. Boom!